Taxing rainbows? You're twitching like you snorted Tim Hortons donut icing. Moon Highway, you and Christia chugging Crown and Coke again?
Sober since 2019. Worse than tequila nightmares. France voicemails me in Quebecois.
Comrades, seize the Timbits. Free poutine for all. Socialism fixes stuff.
Okay, that cartoon is pretty funny, gang, no doubt, but what is not funny is the words that come out of Minister Joly's mouth. She uses so many, doesn't say a darn thing. Take a look and a listen. This is here in the House of Commons. Then she's going to have an announcement that she breaks out this morning of nonsense. And then we're going to go back to the House of Commons to see that she can't even understand the English language, let alone speak it. Let's take a peek. Mélanie Joly is a wreck.
Madam Speaker, it seems that the only thing new about this government is the way that they avoid responsibility. Yesterday, the parliamentary budget officer said, and I quote, "As anyone who's managed a household budget knows, at the end of the month, when you don't have enough money to pay your bills, something is going to break." Well, let me tell you what's breaking. It's the morale of families who are going hungry. Beef up 33%, soup up 26%, grapes up 24%, and a projected 4 million visits to Toronto food banks. The Prime Minister claimed to be an economic expert, yet his broken promises had doubled the deficit and driven up food prices. When will he admit his fiscal failures are starving families of hope?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the economy is growing, and we saw the last numbers, the GDP growing in July, and meanwhile interest rates are being lowered. So good news. Meanwhile, my colleagues should know, because many Conservative voters agree with it, we cut taxes on the middle class. We were able also to cut taxes on first-time homebuyers, and we also cut the carbon tax. So since so many Conservative voters are in favor, and so many, of course, of voters in general, please just support the government's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci, Matt. Bonjour à tous. Ça me fait plaisir de vous voir. It's a pleasure. For those who don't necessarily speak French, there's translation, so I'm just saying there may be parts of the remarks in French that are really relevant. Donc, ça me fait plaisir d'être ici pour le Sommet canadien de la concurrence 2025. As we all know, right now we're living in a much more complicated and dangerous world. One that is shaped by rising trade tensions, to say the least. I used to be, as Matt mentioned, and as you all know, the foreign minister, and I used to work much more on the diplomatic front of these trade tensions, and now I'm working on the economic front of these trade tensions. Used to work much more on the causes, and now I'm working on the consequences of these trade tensions. And over the 4 last years, I've seen the security environment across the world being eroded by wars and tensions, from the beginning of the Ukraine war to the war in the Middle East, to tensions also in the Indo-Pacific. And as well, with the arrival of President Trump, we saw that trade was being used in bilateral relations in a different way than previous American administrations, to say the least. So now what we're seeing is that there's a link between security and the economy. And for decades, we've counted on stable allies, open trade, and an ever-expanding consumer base. But today, global markets are shifting. Supply chains are under pressure, and Canadians across the country are really feeling the impacts of all this at the grocery store, at the gas pump, and when paying their bills. Affordability is the #1 issue in the minds of Canadians. And our government is rising to the challenge with a clear mandate to bring costs down and to build one strong Canadian economy. We've already cut taxes for 22 million Canadians, and we've cut the carbon tax. Competition is another way we're lowering prices, because it keeps prices fair, drives innovation, and it provides Canadians with real choice. Let me be clear, this government will be hawkish on competition.
What?
All parts of the government will be involved because it is really important that we have an all-hands-on-deck approach. And it starts, of course, obviously, with the Competition Bureau. Second, we're creating the conditions for affordability across various sectors. In telecommunications, for example, we've opened up more spectrum to smaller players, helping them enter the market and drive down prices. We've introduced changes to the Telecommunications Act that make it easier for Canadians to switch providers and find better deals. And last August, our government upheld the CRTC decision to mandate wholesale access to fiber networks. The ruling enables internet providers to compete today across the country. This means more choice, lower prices, and better service offerings for Canadians everywhere. C'est une victoire pour les consommateurs et c'est une démonstration claire que la concurrence peut améliorer l'abordabilité. Mais nous savons qu'il reste du travail à faire. When it comes to housing, Canadians, especially young Canadians, deserve the chance to own a home they can afford. We will increase supply to bring costs down. We're doubling the pace of home construction through Build Canada Homes to significantly increase supply and bring down prices. This builds on lower interest rates and a new tax break for first-time homebuyers. So my message today is clear. Canada is open for business, but we expect companies to compete fairly. Looking ahead, we'll continue to strengthen competition in Canadian markets because affordability depends on it. And the Bureau's new study on SME financing will identify barriers that hold smaller firms back, so more Canadian businesses can grow, compete, and thrive. Thank you so much, and have a great summit.
Member for North Island Powell River.
Madam Speaker, since 2015, food inflation has soared 40%, part of a cost of living crisis that has left millions of Canadians struggling to afford housing, transportation, and groceries for their families. In fact, many Canadians have become so desperate, they are forced to rely on food banks each and every week just to be able to afford their rent and to continue to survive. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister said Canadians would judge him by the cost at the grocery store. Well, prices are still increasing, so what exactly is the government's plan?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Mon collègue a...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My colleague asked what our plan is. Our plan is clear. Protect and create jobs and invest in major national projects which will have economic benefits across the country, including in my colleague's riding. That's what Canadians expect from their government. While there are trade tensions throughout the world, we have a plan. Canadians expect us to follow that plan, and they expect to see results, which they will see.
Thank you all for watching. Aaron Canadian Looney, this is a quick one. Come and join us for one of the live shows. We cover all the question periods. Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. Get yours right here. Aaron Canadian Looney. We'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching this one.